Okay, so let's continue for our second part. We're going to do the same question about a survey. Ask respondents number of smart devices their family has. A sample response are 358230491. What we're doing next is we'll be entering these data value into SPSS and record it as a variable called smart device. So as we have shown, you can open a new SPSS data file, which is completely blank. I've already entered mine. 3. So what you need to do is simply choose a cell. Typically, you start with first column. So enter 3, hit enter, and it should come up at 3.00 in my case. You may have 3.00 or you may have just 3. Okay, but these are okay because we can adjust the number of decimals later on very easily. So you enter 358230491 vertically, one by one, like what we do in Excel, entering data. And then we need to adjust on some of the information about this variable. So let's move on to the variable view. First of all, let's change the name of this variable. When we're changing this name, it gives us hints to call it smart device. So we can do smart device. Smart device. Type will just be numeric. And the width will be 8. Decimals, we need to say these are all integers, whole numbers, so decimals are not necessary. So let's decrease the decimals to be 0. Labels. Now, this is important part I want to emphasize. Again, labels is what this variable is about. So when you do labels, you're going to say this means the number of smart device in the family, right? In the respondents, it's family. Okay. Values, as of now, none, because we have 358230491. Those are the values. Okay, so you don't have to change the values. Later on, when we talk about some other variables, you need to change its values if those variables are categorical. Missing none, right? Measure is something we should pick. Well, for the number of smart device, it's not going to be ordinal. It doesn't make sense if we compare, right? Smaller than the bigger. We're not ranking the number of smart devices. So you can just do scale, okay? Now, another thing I want to emphasize is when you are inputting the variable name, underscore is okay, is acceptable in SPSS, but do not enter some special characters such as, let's say, space. If you do space between smart device, if you enter this, it will say variable name contains an illegal character, so that's not allowed. But what if the variable name needs to be long and you wish to simply connect several words together? We can do smart underscore device. This is okay. Okay, this should be fine. But don't do space and don't do other special characters. Okay. All right, so I'm just doing that for example. I don't have to enter another variable smart device. But let's see what happens if you enter smart device like that. You can go back to the data view. You will be seeing this variable being generated, but without the data values yet. In this case, you can manually enter the data values again. All right, so that's just one example. Okay, once you have finished entering these data value, we can construct a frequency distribution table for a smart device. So again, we've done that before. What you need to do is just go back to the data view. You can do analyze, descriptive stats, frequencies. Now this time is much easier because we only have 2 variables. You don't have to pick one variable from thousands and thousands of variables, like the previous 2016 GSS. So I can just move this number of smart device in the respondent family, and display frequency tables has been checked. Hit OK. So this output tab will give you the frequency distribution table, right? You notice that this is a table. Now, one thing we noticed that on the top, it displays the label of the variable. not the variable name. So it's number of smart devices in the respondent's family. So there's 1 of none. 2 of those families has 2 of 3 smart devices, right? And the other ones, 4, 5, 8, 9. One family has only 1 smart device, one family has only 4 smart devices, one family has 5 smart devices, and one family has 8 smart devices, and so one family has 9 smart devices. In total, there are 10 responses, so the total of frequency is 10. These percentage, again, is 10% for the families that has only 1 smart device, and 20% of the families has 2 smart devices. Okay, so that's how you interpret these frequency distribution table. Now, the other way for us to enter data is we can enter data imported from other existing SPSS file. So let's try import the variable happy from gss2016.siv. Okay. Now let's go back to the 2016 and we need to look for the variable happy. Okay. So first of all, let's go GSS 2016 and let's go to variable view and we need to look for the variable happy. Again, in this data file, there are lots and lots of variables, so it'll be not very reasonable if you look for it manually. So what we can do is highlight the column of name and let's try to find that variable. So if you're doing PC, you can do Control F. That will give you find, and let's type happy. Oopsie. Here, I didn't mean to change the first one here. Right. So I'm going to go here, name, Control F. Make sure your cursor is over here, and I'm looking for happy. Alright, so here we go. We found a happy, which is 207 first variable. This is the happy. Happy variable, you can tell that it talks about, the label is general happiness. Its values, okay, if you click the right 3 dots, the values, 1 means the person is very happy, 2 means the respondent is pretty happy, 3 means not too happy. Alright. Now what we need to do is, suppose I want to just copy and paste, import this variable back into my own file. How do we do that? First thing you'll need to do is double click this row, 207 first, which will take you back to, oopsie, let's see, double click this, it will take you back to the data view, and you can see happy. That's the column. Again, 2, 1, 8, 3, these are different values as we have seen. 1 means very happy, 2 means pretty happy, right? 3 means not too happy, and those 8 is not applicable. So what we need to do is edit, and you can copy with the variable labels. So let's copy this variable and let's return to our new file, and you can choose an empty column and paste. Right click and paste. It will give you the happy. It will copy the entire column of happy along with its labels. So we can double check in the variable view. So happy is the name, label is general happiness, with the value is 0 2, 1 means very happy, 2 pretty happy, 3 not too happy. Okay. 8 means doesn't know, right? 0 means information is unapplicable. Okay. Well, let's finish the last task of this session. Let's construct a frequency distribution for this variable happy. So again, pretty easy, right? Go back to data view and hit analyze, descriptive stats, frequency. Move general happiness over to the right. Make sure display frequency tables has been checked. Hit OK. There we go. We got the frequency distribution table for, let me see, where it is. So this is the frequency table. For general happiness, right? You can see the general happiness. There are 806 respondents very happy, 1,601 person pretty happy, 452 not too happy. A lot of times, percentage means more. We can say 55.8% of the respondents are pretty happy, and 28.1% of the respondents are very happy, right? Alright, so that's what we did in the first section of this SPSS video. In this video, let's see what we did is we talked about, let me go back to the outline real quick, guys. We talk about how you do start SPSS, the interface. Important thing as for interface is there are two views, data view and a variable view, right? And then we talk about how do you work with the existing SPSS files. How do you read the variable and understand what this variable is about. Okay. And in the end, we talk about how do you import data into a SPSS file, either manually or from an existing ones. Okay. I hope this helps you to get a very brief idea of SPSS. If you have worked on this new file like I did, make sure you can save this work file, save as .sav in a specific location folder on your own computer so you can re-access. I'm going to call this SPSS session 1. Okay. SPSS session 1 and save. Alright, so that's all we have today. Let me know if you have any questions.